What's up, YouTube? Mr. Lemessy here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Blessed Hammer Evade Paladin. Now, this is another take on the Arbiter form. It is not the best Arbiter form. The Wing Strike seems to be a little bit better, but that being said, it's still S tier. We're still clearing like pit level 95, 96, 97-ish with it right now. Which is still good, whereas the Arbiter form with the Wing Strikes is like pit 105, 106, 107. So, you know, a little bit of a difference, but still very fun. And again, you get to play Blessed Hammer, which is just a blast. So, first I'll show a little bit of this character and how it functions. And then we will dive into all of the pieces. I will have a guide down below as well. I have a leveling guide for Blessed Hammer Disciple, and then we're going to have this guide as well. Or an endgame guide as well, I should say. So the way that this build works is you're going to go into your Arbiter form, and you are simply going to evade. And by evading through everything, and casting all of your spells and whatnot. Oops, that's not enough. Then you're going to be automatically casting hammers with this evasion. And so that is going to just automatically have an auto cast of hammers that follow you. And these hammers are going to deal good damage on their own. So you can see, you know, we deal billions and billions of damage through all of that. And you're going to be in a perma arbiter form as well, which you can achieve in multiple ways, and I will discuss those ways. But this is essentially the build. It's going to smoke all of the content. Again, anything that's clearing basically up to pit level 100. This is like just under that right now. Anything that's going to be close to that is going to murder all of the like Lilith Torment 4 content and just destroy everything. So this will be good enough to do pretty much everything that you want to do, and is a great farmer build, very quick and fun. So let's dive into the skill tree first. There's a couple of options again as well for this, but we can dive in here now. So first, I just have 1 point in advance. If you want, you can also make this a disciple skill. You will get your cooldowns on this very fast, and so you will be able to use this to just dash forward very quickly as well. I actually would almost say I would recommend this as the thing to choose instead of having the Arbiter of Justice there, is to have Flash of the Blade right there, because it'll let you just move a little bit faster through and let you kind of like dash, 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 like you use this to dash, and you use that to dash, and you can go back and forth. It will make you a little bit faster. So I do think that is probably how I would do it, and I may put it in my build. Then you want to max Blessed Hammer, as again, this is a Blessed Hammer build, and you want to get Disciple's Halo. It makes it a disciple skill, which is important for later. And then it also allows the hammers to orbit you, so they'll continue to stick with you. Other than that, we're getting Riposte for blocking grants damage, On Guard for armor and block chance, and then Core Skill increased damage right there, 18%. So again, just boosting up the hammers. We have 3 points in renewal and then a point in longevity. You could put up to 3 points in longevity. Totally up to you. I'm currently running all 3 auras. I just find that the auras are just too good in the end game to not run them. This one gives you critical strike chance and attack speed right there. And that's just really nice. Plus then you can get critical strike damage from Rite of Vengeance. This one gives you resolve stacks, which is damage reduction and healing. And when you use this, you get armor and resistance. And remember, armor is a boost to our damage. I'll show you more why later. So any armor is always good. And then this one has some healing on it, but it also has a stun, which gives us crowd control. So kind of hard to not use all 3 auras. Down here for the Valor skills, we do have Rally. I just have 1, 1, and 1. This is mostly just for regenerating your faith. Basically, because we have so much healing, you can just spam Rally really fast a few times, and your faith will go up to max again, and you get all your resource back. So this allows you to not need this disciple skill whatsoever. Additionally, Rally also increases your movement speed. If you want, and you're just using that disciple and your movement speed is good otherwise, you could drop rally out because you're using this blade's fish flash of the blade attack, and if you're regenerating resource. So you could kind of go here and drop rally, or there and right. You can pick which one you want. Falling Star is a option. Again, this would be another option for movement. If you want something to let you move around very quickly, you can use Falling Star. It'll be very quick on its cooldown, and it lets you jump around super easily. So again, you kind of have choices. You can pick up Advance, you can pick up Falling Star, you can pick up Rally. I'd say you're kind of doing one or two of the three, depending, but you know, just gives you some movement right there. Over here, oh yeah, and we've picked up Best Offense and Fortitude because we are going to be fortified a lot with our stacks, and so that's just increased damage there. Over here we have Righteousness for increased holy damage. I do have a point into Dizzying Blow. You can definitely get this up to 3 points because this will get you damage. This will get you damage for crowd control enemies, which our Holy Light aura does. And then we've maxed out Cracking the Armor and High Charity for that cooldown reduction. And then we've gone down and maxed out Heavyweight and Break the Line for increasing the damage. And then here you can decide if you want to put more points in like these as well. There's kind of like extra spots for you to place skills, so you can kind of decide where you want your points to go. Shining Armor and Giant Slayer maxed, Master Craftsworks maxed, and then you want to get a point into Seraph's Wings just because this gives you a really nice movement speed and it makes nearby enemies vulnerable, which is just super good. And then lastly, for the keynote, I'm actually using Coat of Arms. It just is a higher damage boost. Exaltation is nice in that it does have 85% damage boost, but the Wing Strike is not what we're going for here as much. I mean, Wing Strikes are still nice, but we're going for a hammer build, so we're just rolling for more damage on that. For the Paragon, it's actually pretty similar to the other build. So I'm just kind of running around here. I'm running main board into Castle. Again, every single Paladin will use Castle as their first board, and it will be everything is armor stacking. Because if you can get your armor stacked like crazy, I mean, look at this bonus, 1,042% multiplicative bonus. It's insane. So you're going to want Castle, and then you're going to want to get into all of these armor nodes. Just, I promise you, it's just so good. That will be capped at like 500% or something in the future. I promise they will nerf this and cap this at some point. But for now, it's not, and it's so good. This is the one. I have Arbiter here. This is the one thing I would probably change around because this is just increasing Arbiter Wings damage, which I'm not doing Arbiter Wings really right now. So you could change this, you know, glyph out for, if you want, Turf would be fine. If you want, you could put Spirit, right, which would be great, increasing crit strike damage. Challenger would work as well. Where's Challenger? There it is. Challenger would also work for just more to random nodes. Increased damage to, you know, vulnerable targets for exploit. So there's a few nodes. Again, I'll have a guide down below that gives more knowledge on what I'm doing with everything. I have Resplendence over here and just getting big damage on that stuff. So we have Divinity as another one, which is great. Increased damage to vulnerable enemies. And remember, everything is vulnerable near us. We have Relentless. While moving, you deal increased damage and have cooldown reduction, which that's fantastic because that means our cooldown reduction is then going to be maxed. So that's just very helpful for us because we want our Arbiter Evade to be as often as possible, which I'll talk about that again in a second. And then Shield Bearer is just, our block chance is going to be 100%. We're just getting all these like block chance nodes plus the block chance skills that we have. And so that just allows us to get Shield Bearer. And then again, I'm using Arbiter, which don't use that one. Resplendence, Apostle, Canny, and Diminish. These are all fine. Again, I'd probably take Spirit over Diminish, and then like Exploit or Challenger or something. But they're good enough. These are working pretty well. Again, it's just kind of crushing. For the gear, we are running currently Harlequin Crest. Let me go to my stash really fast. I'm not going to sit here and say everybody has to have, a Shaco. So, if you don't have a Shaco, you can look for something that's got cooldown reduction on it, whatever. I'd probably re-roll like shield charge off of this to get like armor and then be happy with that or something. But I found a Shaco and I got a cooldown reduction boost on it. So we're gonna take all the cooldown reduction, right? Just really nice because we're doing Arbiter evade, so we're just trying to like evade as much as possible. So just look for something with armor and life and strength, and that'll be pretty good. Same with Tyrael's Might here. This is a very defensive armor, but you can just look for any chesty that's got decent stuff. Strength, life, armor. This is great, right? Nice and easy. Additionally, you have these aspects like gain up to 132% armor and impairment resistance. So again, armor boost is solid because that is more damage for us as well. So these can be really nice to use as well. For gloves, I've got some cooldown reduction right here and critical strike damage, and then strength, and this has resistance as well. I've put disciple damage on them, so looking to add disciple damage to pretty much everything there that I can. We have the Indomitable right here for, again, that armor impairment boost. But again, looking for armor, looking for life, and then I've got increased Arbiter duration that I've put onto these. You probably want that about one time, get around like 50% of it, and it's really nice. For our boots, I've just got a lot of move speed. That's kind of my main focus. I'd like some armor too, but move speed was like a big thing, and then strength and life. And then you can pull enemies into you for increased damage, which is just nice again with the, a little extra damage boost. And then we have the Herald's Morning Star right here, which has chance for Blessed Hammer to deal double damage, which we really like. And then we have plus to Blessed Hammer on it as well. And then, of course, Blessed Hammer deals increased damage and lucky hit up to 20% chance to spawn a Blessed Hammer on the target hit. So this is just going to be your best weapon for you there. For an amulet, this is actually probably not the best amulet. I'm just kind of using it right now, but it does have 91.6% chance for Arbiter to deal double damage. So you could roll that onto something, and that would be solid. So, if you can get a roll, but, otherwise, it's like, it's okay. It's more for the Wing Strike build, I would say, but yeah, let me look at like other amulets that I have and see if I've got anything. Arbiter. Maybe not for the double, actually. So it is nice then, because it does have the chance to deal double damage, which is just a huge boost. But yeah, Utmost Glory would also be really good on an amulet. It gives a boost to weakened enemies. It's doubled, and so you can get like 100% extra damage on an amulet or something, which is really good. So that would also be nice. I have Ring of the Starless Skies, again, a mythic. I'm not going to say that you need to always have mythics for this. If you can get anything with plus core skills, that's really nice. But on rings, I'm really looking for, let me see if I've got good rings. Strength, life, crit chance, crit damage, and then you can add disciple damage onto it. And you can put like Utmost Glory as well for the aspect on there as well. Again, in the guide, I'll give kind of like recommendations for all these pieces. But if you can come across the Ring of the Starless Skies, it can be nice because you get those plus to core skills, which is really good. And then you are spending your primary resource here, getting that damage boost on top of nice crit chance. and attack speed. Argent Veil is also very solid. Again, we have plus to core skills right here. So we're just increasing this hammer damage overall. And then we've got some strength, max life, vulnerable damage. But the biggest thing, and what really makes this nice, and it's almost like a key piece of the build, is Arbiter's Evade triggers a random equipped core skill for every 2 meters traveled. Core skills deal increased damage during Arbiter's Evade and for 4 seconds after. And so what you're doing is you're evading, and then you're casting it, cast a hammer, because that's our only core skill. And then you evade, it cast a hammer, evade, cast a hammer, right? So you're getting all these like hammer triggers off of just evading around. Otherwise, you're going to have to manually be casting your hammers. Thankfully, this isn't like that hard of a ring to get, but it is something that kind of pushes this now to that next piece. Otherwise, you can still play this build. Like I say, you just have to manually cast your hammers. So you're going to go in and be casting your hammers rather than evading through everything. And then we have Herald of Zakarum. This is just godly because it gives all this extra armor and increased strength, resistance armor. And again, extra armor is just godly. So Hawes is really good. Until you get a Hawes, again, you can just look for like a big armor shield. And there's a lot of good aspects for this character that play through all of this stuff. So you have, you know, damage in arbiter form. You have damage with vulnerable. I can bring up the like, right. So we can start casting a skill that grants arbiter form increases your damage. So this would be nice with falling star, right? And so you can just cast falling star over and over and over again if you have this aspect, and you get a ton of damage. While in arbiter form, kills grant increased damage up to 125% for vulnerable damage. This is fantastic, and this just works with anything of that. You can grab aspect of exorcism. No, you don't want that. Aspect of holy punishment, which is just increased holy damage, which is what we're doing. You can grab aspect of Ligera's sovereignty. Your disciple skills deal 60% more damage, which is what we're doing, right? So hammers are, you know, disciple in here. So there's a few of those. And then there's the aspect of utmost glory. There's those ones we talked about. Arbiter's evade cooldown reduced 3 seconds. So that would be really nice as well. We can do evade. So aspect of the Arbiter Zephyr. Arbiter's evade cooldown is reduced by 1 to 3 seconds. So now you can just be spamming this out like crazy, which is really nice. And that may actually be good on the boots. Maybe I should roll that instead. Increased armor 46%. So for your armor ones, you can gain, you know, up to 124% armor and impairment resistance based on your block chance. And it can just be really nice overall. So that is all of the gear that I'm really using for this character. The gems are the standard rubies in any of the armors, emeralds and weapon for crit strike, and diamonds in jewelry. Pretty simple right there. We are running the Disciple Oath because casting a Disciple skill grants Arbiter form. So you don't even have to have the ultimate. This is what I'm saying. You can just keep casting your Disciple skills and you're good. Wing strikes gain Disciple skill benefits, and then while in Arbiter form, your Disciple skills deal increased damage, which is just good for us, like we talked about before. For the runes, I have Igni Gar up here. This is just nice for increasing my critical strike chance. And then I have Sir Ohm. This is casting skills to get Warcry. There's a lot of other things. Again, I'll have it kind of listed below. But, you know, Gar is pretty easy to get, and you can just do whatever stuff you want. You know, Sir Gar is pretty decent for a nice and easy rune word if you want some cheap ones, right? But, like, Yul is also good at top. Bach is good up top. Like, there's a few combinations. I will have all those listed in the guide. For my divine gifts, I've got Lies. Fortify is really nice right here. I've got Squalor. This gives us maggots in the Helltide, which is just really good. So I just love that for the experience. You can swap this with Pain if you want as well. which allows you to gain some maximum barrier right there. But I just like the experience from that. We have increased resistance with screams, and then we have increased armor with sin, which of course is just godly, right? Like we talked about before, getting the increased armor is just massive. So that pretty much is it for our mercenary. I'm just running ground slam, bastion, kind of whatever. I don't really care too much about the mercenary. I'm murdering stuff for the most part before anything even matters with all of that stuff. And yeah, that's kind of the build. And like I say, once you get out there, you just kind of zap around, just kind of constantly evading. And every time you're evading and traveling, you're casting more and more hammers, dealing more and more damage. And it's a nice little boost. So anyways, that is our guide for the Evade Hammerden. It is pretty fun. And again, definitely up in the S tier, clearing almost level 100 pits. So what more can you want? GG. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.